Chris Evans with Guthrie head football coach Rafe Watkins is concluding the first scrimmage of the year. Finally got to hit somebody else.
Yeah, it was good, and that was two very good teams, defending 4A state champion, and then Tulsa Kelley is a top 10 team every year in 5A and have a great defensive scheme, and so it's a good scrimmage for us. The Douglass is skilled kids and talent, and with Tulsa Kelley's discipline on defense, it's a great scrimmage for us.
And physical as well.
Very physical, and the best news out of all that, we come out healthy. All team, I think, came out healthy tonight.
You look at it offensive, defensively, you kind of did what you wanted to. You scored touchdowns on both of your drives against both teams, and you held both teams out of the end zone.
Yeah, and of course, we're going to nitpick stuff. I know that we're disappointed that we give up any yards on defense, but like you said, that was early in both drives, and then we bowed our necks and kept them out. Had an interception on the first series against Tulsa Kelley, and then against Douglass, held up down there and made them fumble. So that was great for the defense. I know they didn't want to give up those two, but that can be corrected. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. Offensively, we had the good drive against Douglass, and then Kai coming in there and running our little 11 option and doing a great job. And then first play to start the second one, boom, first thing. But then we kind of went on a little lull and didn't move the ball much there for a while and had some breakdowns. And it was like we got excited that we scored, but we should have kept on going then. Yeah. And we went a little flat. Was like, okay, well, we've done this, and we're satisfied because we definitely wanted to score both against both defenses tonight, in which we did. But overall, probably a little better than I thought it was going to be through our practices. It's hard hitting each other, and we're going to take it easy because we've got about 20 to 25 guys that's going to have to play a lot, and so we got to be very careful in practice. And so even though we're still probably more physical than most people in our practices, our guys take it a little bit easy, and therefore a couple of practices this week looked like we were brother-in-law a little bit. Just didn't know what we'd do this week out here tonight, and I was very pleased overall. And I tell you, I was proud with our young kids too. The JV portion of it, we scored, I think, 3 or 4 touchdowns, and they didn't even get close to scoring tonight on either team. So overall, I thought it was a really good scrimmage. And again, the most important thing is that we come out and executed, played hard, and stayed healthy.
Of course, the receivers, everyone knows you have the same repeat schedule as you did last year. Everyone knows about Contrell and Devontae. You threw a lot of kids out there tonight.
We did, and that's what we've talked about before tonight. We have about 8 or 10 that we threw out there and around. We got a couple, 3 that don't play any defense, so they've got to really come along. We're really going to push Jarvis. We're pushing Cody Rice, pushing Mark Allison, because they're not going to play defense. Those 3 have got to come up and be able to be players for us there, because you got Clint, you got Donovan, you got Kai. Of course, Kai's going to play 3 positions for us offensively and rotate him around, and JT, and those guys are going to be playing a lot of defense. And so, and then of course Luke at tailback also. So we got some guys that we're going to have to rotate, be smart on our rotation when it's so hot, especially here early in the year, because we believe in defense. Defense is going to win championships, and so those guys will always be on defense. We've got to figure out our rotation and how we can do it. And with those other 3 that's not playing any defense, it's a lot of pressure for them to step up and become great players that we can count on, so that we can rotate those others in every other series and not have to use all 4 of them.
Got a couple days off, and then you're going to hit the practice field, and then you head to Piedmont for a scrimmage, a final tune-up before Duncan.
Yeah, we give them this weekend off. Monday we'll watch film from tonight, and then we'll get out and go full pads on Monday afternoon. Tuesday we'll go full pads. Wednesday we'll go helmet, and then like I told them, then it's Thursday, and then it's game week. And we'll start on that Friday, because we'll start breaking down Duncan a little bit next week from last year's game and just getting some game plan put together from them from what we had last year. They probably changed a little bit. They're going to have a different look to them offensive-wise, but they're going to be a solid football team, and we'll worry about them later on. But we've got to still worry about ourselves right now. We got a lot of stuff we got to address and clean up, and we'll probably even see more once we watch film, and we'll correct that and make ourselves better next week.
Real quickly, news off the field: Blake Belcher announces he's going to University of Tulsa.
Outstanding. He couldn't ask for any more. What a wonderful university as far as academics and the alumni that they have with that. He'll have to get a great job coming out of there in 4 or 5 years. Not to mention that he's playing for a great program that went into Notre Dame last year and won there. Not a lot of folks can say that, and they've got a chance to play OU and OSU both this year and see this stuff. I know Coach Blankenship's excited about it all, and it's a challenge for him, but talking about him, and I've said it many times, there's not a finer man to be around, and I admire him a lot. He was a guy that gave me a lot of direction whenever I was young coach. I'd go and listen to him every time he had a chance to speak, and then of course when he was recruiting as a wide receiver coach for Tulsa, he'd come through and sit in the office and talk with me and Coach Beebe, Coach Mick, all the coaches, and just such a down-to-earth guy, and he's just great with the young men. So Blake, of course, he was a 7th and 8th grader up there when Coach Blankenship was still the coach at Tulsa Union, so he's familiar with him, and it's just a great fit, close to home, and easy for his mom and the rest of us to be able to see him play.
You throw it in next year, Coach, with Blake going to the University of Tulsa, at least 4, could be more next year, playing Division I football from Guthrie, Oklahoma.
Very proud of those young men, and they're just all great ambassadors for our program and our school and our community. And the main thing is they're all going to great universities and going to get that education, and that's the most important thing.
Coach, congratulations on a good practice
Thank
here.
you.
We'll see you next week.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Head coach Rafe Watkins.